So before we begin, I just thought it would be prudent for us to listen to our mother ministry. And of course, by doing that, I would like to introduce to you or allow for Madam P.S. to open the session for us.
Uganda is indeed a gemstone, like Winston Churchill referred to it, the pearl of Africa. And we are seeing that even in our energy and petroleum subsector, where we are poised to become the East Africa region's energy hub. We are seeing and experiencing a season of enormous activity in Uganda that is underpinned by, of course, our petroleum resources, where we've discovered 6.5 billion barrels of standard oil initially in place, of which 1.4 billion barrels is recoverable. And in order to commercialize these resources, we are working on two critical projects: an East Africa crude oil pipeline that will deliver a portion of that crude oil to the port of Tanga through Tanzania for onward marketing overseas, but also a local oil refinery of 60,000 barrels per day that will serve the market in Uganda, but also our immediate neighbors. Now, Uganda is positioned in the hinterland of the East Africa region. That comes with a number of benefits. We are surrounded by countries including Kenya, Tanzania to the south, South Sudan to the north, DRC Congo to the east, but also Rwanda and Burundi to the southwest. What does this mean? That means when you invest in Uganda, you then have a springboard to access the regional market of about 300 million people, and that way you're able to trade across the region.
When we talk about, or when you look at the private, public-private partnerships that play in Uganda, where and how can international investors engage effectively?
As a country, Uganda, we are keen to support private sector invest in the country. And we have worked to ensure that we put in place the requisite legal and regulatory framework so that the investors are able to invest with certainty and predictability. So when it comes to support on the private sector side, I'll start with the petroleum sector. We've already seen a number of private sector come into the country: Total Energies, China National Offshore Oil Corporation out of China, and a few others out of Australia. What that speaks, it speaks to a de-risked investment. By us attracting some of the majors, that speaks to the fact that the country has provided an enabling environment. So how do we do it as we partner with the private sector? Besides putting in place the robust legal and regulatory framework, we are keen to ensure that the challenges and the risks that the private sector faces are addressed in a timely way. And which are those? Number one of the key aspects that we support the private sector on critically is on the side of land acquisition. Land acquisition, and for Uganda, is a very unique and complex matter because land belongs to the people. So we walk the journey with the private sector to ensure that they are supported to acquire all approvals for purposes of land acquisition. We have just done that for the East Africa crude oil pipeline, where on the Ugandan side, out of the 1,443 kilometers of pipeline length, we've supported Total Energies, CNOOC, and of course UNOC, now speaking as the government. We've supported them to acquire the entire portion on the Ugandan side of 292 kilometers and in record time. And it has not in any way hindered the project progress. So we are keen to support on issues of land acquisition, but two, we are aware that the permitting process can become an encumbrance. So we continue to streamline our permitting and approval processes for a number of project authorizations. Many of these we are digitizing. We are ensuring our licensing processes are done on different digital platforms, be it energy or petroleum. That way, then the investor is assured of a seamless process for licensing and permitting. The other one that we are keen to do to de-risk these projects is, again, ensuring that we are packaging bankable projects. So we are undertaking feasibility studies, but also doing significant data acquisition. So by the time you come in as private sector to start any conversation with the government, we avail most of the information and data that you require to make your investment decision. Uganda is a safe and secure investment destination, so we are keen as the government to ensure that that is maintained for the long haul. That is a key aspect. Now, in structuring these private-public partnerships, we are keen then to work with the investor. We know the advantages that the investors are bringing on board on the financing side, but also technology and expertise. So we are keen to work with them so that we leverage from those opportunities while supporting them, including on community engagements. We support the investors to acquire a social license with the communities where they operate. So we work with them to structure corporate social responsibility that is responsive to the community needs, but also engaging the communities to not raise their expectations beyond what the investor can manage. Sometimes the investor is treated as the government. So we come in as the government to clarify to the communities where the operations are, to realize that the government remains responsible for public service delivery, and it's not the investor's responsibility to build healthcare facilities, schools, etc. So ours is a very interactive process to support the private sector. Beyond drill, baby, drill, it's now sign, baby, sign. So sign as many deals as can be. So Uganda has been very deliberate when it comes to our energy transition plan and strategy. And indeed, we were deliberate to put in place a specific energy transition plan supported by the International Energy Agency. Now, the way we look at it as a country, again, a just energy transition must support the energy security of the country. So we are looking at the oil and gas sector to support us in our endeavors to drive the renewable energy development agenda. We have programmed through the oil and gas sector to earn about $2 billion per year from the oil and gas project. And what will this do? This is going to support us unlock our new hydropower plants, but also geothermal and other endeavors, including nuclear. So in order for us to ensure the sustainability of the oil and gas sector and minimize the impacts of the sector, we have worked with the oil and gas companies in the country, Total Energies, CNOOC, to ensure that the projects are developed in a manner to reduce the carbon footprint of the projects. And indeed, that has been attested to through the different environmental impact assessments we worked on with them, approved by the national authority in charge of environment. We have been deliberate in our laws to ensure that we manage gas flaring and venting. We do not allow for venting of gas from our oil and gas operations, but also we only accept minimum flaring for purposes of the safety of the operations of the different facilities. So we have managed that on the side of the hydrocarbons. We've been keen to ensure that our oil and gas facilities are powered by clean energy, including using part of the gas that will be produced alongside the petroleum will be used to power the central processing facilities for the oil and gas project. And then for the crude oil pipeline running 1,443 kilometers from Uganda through Tanzania to the port of Tanga, we have ensured that we provide for solarization. So we are using clean energy to power the East Africa crude oil pipeline beyond the point of dispatch in Uganda.
What is the current status of the refinery? I mean, people have waited for this grand story, and it's been one of the recurring topics at every conference that we've been to in the last 4 years. What's the status, and what are the timelines? What timelines are we looking at?
Well, the status of the refinery project, Uganda's refinery project, is currently we have it fully funded. We are working on the basis of 100% equity funding. We decided to abandon project finance as a route. We felt the financing environment was too hostile for our refinery project, so we ended up going for an equity option, which is 40% by government of Uganda through the Uganda National Oil Company, and 60% with our colleagues or our brothers and sisters in the Emirates. So we have Emirati investors who are covering the other 60%. And right now we have completed the refinery configuration studies. So we are certain that we're going to be building a RFCC, a residue fluid catalytic cracking configuration, which will essentially give us the opportunity to generate petrochemical feedstocks, and as well as, of course, petrol, diesel, gas, and some fuel oil, and also jet fuel. So we've entered into basic engineering. We're expecting roughly 1 year of activity up to an FID point for our investor partners. And at that point, we will then commence the EPC. So the EPC will last approximately 3 years, and we expect the refinery to be up and running in around about fourth quarter 2029 or early 2030. That is the timing we have in mind. The project itself is not just the project that we have to focus on. We also have to look at the infrastructure around the project, and we're working with various ministries, Ministry of Works and Transport, to work on the road infrastructure. We're working on water infrastructure that needs to supply the refinery area. We're also working on high voltage power. So we're getting a high voltage substation that's currently being installed in the Kabalega Industrial Park, which is right next to the refinery. So we'll have about 240 megawatts of power available for the refinery, but also for petrochemical and other investors in the industrial park. The refinery is surrounded. We have a heavy industry area inside the industrial park. Then we have light, medium industry as well. And so all that the infrastructure I've described is also to cater for those investors in the downstream, as well as the input value chain for the refinery project. So we are moving, and we're excited to be moving. We really want to add value in country, but we're also seeing the markets, by the way, for the products will be not just Uganda. We're also looking at our neighbors, Eastern DRC, Southern Sudan, Northern Tanzania will also be benefiting from the products from this refinery. So what the refinery project is doing for us is it's opening up the value addition opportunities that we see within the oil and gas value chain. So specifically, we're looking at petrochemicals, particularly C3, so propylene-based petrochemicals, because we believe that we have the market. One example is we use a lot of polypropylene in country, in region, that's used in raffia manufacture. So, the bags that are used to transport agricultural goods all across the region. So we believe that's an excellent market investment opportunity. But we're also looking at C4 petrochemicals, so butene 1, butene 2 petro. We have fertilizer discussions going on, but these are so this is nitrogen-based fertilizers. So that's another opportunity, again, to support agriculture, our agricultural sector. We're also exploring the production of aviation gasoline, which is a high-octane gasoline that will be, in addition to what we plan to produce, we'll be looking at production of that. That would support the whole mining sector, for example, in Eastern DRC, that uses aircraft to support their operations. We're looking also at supporting Uganda Airlines with low carbon aviation fuels, so LCAF and sustainable aviation fuels. So that's another investment opportunity that's outside of the basic project.
We have commercial participating interest in the oil field development projects, the Tilenga and Kingfisher, at 15%. And that gives us a working resource base of 150 million barrels. Now, of course, we have also invested heavily in the midstream projects, especially the crude oil pipeline project, the ECOP, that is really a vehicle for commercializing the resources that we have in the upstream. But like Dr. Michael said, we're also investing in the refinery at 40%. Now, certainly, we are cognizant of the fact that oil and gas is a finite resource, and as we speak now, the Tilenga and Kingfisher will start production about July next year. And so once we commence production, our resources will begin to get depleted. And so as a national company, we took the strategic decision to begin to explore for new oil and gas resource as a way of replacing the reserves that we have currently. And so, yes, we ventured into petroleum exploration. We did participate in the second licensing round that the country ran, and it was a very competitive process. We participated competitively with the other private sector players, and we were awarded a petroleum exploration, development and production license in the early 2003, February specifically. So for us as a national company, we look at it from strategically three main angles. One is to commence that process of replacing our oil and gas reserves in order to be sustainable, especially given the heavy investment that we have done in the midstream projects. The other second key strategic reason for that, of course, is national capacity development. And certainly we take that as an opportunity for us as a national company and as a country to explore avenues of transferring knowledge, skills, and technology from the international oil and gas players and other industry players into the country, so that we are also able to undertake some of these exploration work as well as oil field development ourselves as a country. And then, of course, the third key perspective that we look at to venture into petroleum exploration is the aspect of the aspect of beginning to create a resource in the country, capacity resource in the country, to be able to explore for oil and gas and develop oil fields. So we look at it from that angle, and we are very glad that we have started that journey very well.
From the private sector point of view, why should anyone invest in Uganda's energy sector?
So, but having said that, we have 5 exploration blocks that are still under exploration by various companies, including UNOC, the Kasurubani block that you indicated. And certainly that attracts a lot of other investment opportunities. Yes. And so for those specifically for those exploration blocks, we are looking out for our services, exploration and production services, including drilling services, covering right from integrated drilling services to specific drilling services like mud logging, wireline logging, rig services and all this. We also have opportunities in subsurface studies. We are doing a lot of geological, geophysical, geochemical studies in these exploration blocks. And so we, even as we speak now as a national company, we are currently undertaking 2D seismic survey that will run up to about end of November. And so seismic services are one of the other areas of investment opportunities that we have in the country. The other one, of course, is all the support services that go around trying to support drilling operations, support seismic services like logistics, clearing and forwarding, accommodation, and hotel services. So there's still vast opportunities of services,
Right.
but specifically for us as a national company, I also wanted to underscore that we are in the process of acquiring a joint venture partner to come and work with us and explore for oil and gas in the Kasarani contract area. We did send out the expression of interest notice in July, 8th of July, and the expression of notice closed on 8th of August, and we are now in the process of evaluating the expression of interest, and we'll be receiving the joint venture proposals from companies that would have qualified from that expression of interest process. So there is a vast opportunity for investment, largely focused around drilling, the EPC subcontracts.
If not Uganda, then where else? And I'll give you the reasons why. First and foremost, Uganda is a very stable country, very stable politically, very peaceful country, and you can rest assured that your investment in the country is safe. And from the private sector players that we do represent as the Chamber of Energy and Minerals, this is something that they do hold dear. In addition to that, in Uganda, once you have invested in the country and you're bringing in any kind of equipment, the import tax is zero rated. And so you can bring in all your equipment and all that you need at zero tax in order for you to set up and get on with the work. We also have a favorable tax regime when it comes to income tax. For example, for the first 10 years of operation in Uganda, you are assured of a tax break, because the idea is to catalyze investment, get investors coming in and creating jobs, creating technology transfer and skills transfer. So with those 10 years where you are assured of a tax holiday, that is cash flow that is very necessary for you to continue running your business. Uganda is also one of the youngest nations on earth. 77% of Ugandans are below the age of 30. So you are assured of a workforce that is ready and available. And the education system in Uganda is versatile and growing, cutting edge, to be able to get to the place where you can have young people within the country that are trained, that you can ensure skills transfer to them, and you have a local workforce. In addition, in this day and age of ESG, as mentioned by the Permanent Secretary earlier on, 83% of our energy source is hydro. It's clean energy. So you're assured that your energy that you're going to be using in your operations is clean, and that goes very well to your ESG considerations and the compliances. So there is no better place to invest than in Uganda, because you're assured that you'll have a return of investment, and the companies that have come through in Uganda at various levels have gotten their money back. One of the beauty about the energy sector is we are keen to see that it catalyzes other sectors, that the oil and gas sector does support the tourism and hospitality industry, the logistics industry, the manufacturing, and all the others, because all these do work together to make sure that the energy sector does grow. And so whichever company you're from, whichever company that is interested in Uganda, whether it is hospitality, manufacturing, it is in logistics, or any other vertical, it can even be agriculture, because all these projects do need food. They are assured of a market, and as mentioned earlier, it's not just the Ugandan market, but the whole East Africa. There is over 300 million people. So it's the best place to invest.
Karibu sana, Akwaba, Saubona, Ekabo.
Good morning and welcome to African Energy Week 2025. In this year's Energy Week, we commit to positioning Africa as a true global energy champion.
It is indeed an honor to be here at the 5th African Energy Week. 5 years ago, many of you in this room, you asked us to build something more than a conference. You asked us to build a movement. that will speak up for our continent, that will speak up for an industry.
The story of African energy is one of immense promise, and the leading chapters are still being written, supporting a continental marketplace where innovation, investment, and ambition converge. Let us make this the decade in which Africa's energy sector not only meets its potential, but leads the world, driving prosperity, resilience, and transformation.
So by working together with respect, with strong partnerships, Africa's journey towards a just and sustainable energy future will prove it once again. Africa is opportunity, Africa is energy.
It is important to give women a seat at the table on decisions relating to energy security, particularly on the African continent. When the energy industry is opened and the market is opened and widened, all businesses can benefit. Diversity is good business for all organizations.
Africa's time is now, and Africa must take the opportunity now. Capital is very mobile, it's going to find opportunities somewhere. And as long as we can ensure that there's policy harmonization, we can go further together.
Across our continent, we are blessed in abundant resources: oil, gas, solar, land, the wind. We also have all the necessary resources to develop our country.
As we've been hearing from many of the presentations here, there is enormous proven resource in Africa. All over the place, onshore, offshore, everywhere else. But the investors need three things. They need that proven resource. They need a predictable rule of law that if they put their money to work, they can pull money out at the proper time. And three, they need a predictable enough security environment. If you do those three things, a lot of good will flow.
Yes, Africa's energy sector holds immense potential, but the truth is Africa's tired of just saying potential. We want now reality to sink in. We need to have forums that have outcomes that we implement for ourselves.
Over the last few days, we've seen incredible collaboration.
Our future and Africa's future is not for us to predict, it's for us to create. And we create that by driving those new chapters and produce energy for every African. That is a must, and our generation can do it. It is not impossible. Let's go, Africa, and thank you guys so much, and I really appreciate it.